Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Aham Padarthaya Shivaya Paramatmane Namaha. Ya Maya Madhukaipa Pramadini, Ya Ma Kishonmolini, Ya Dhumrekshana Chandamundamadini, Ya Rakta Bijashini, Ya Sashambana Shimbadadbadalini, Ya Siddha Lakshmi Para, Sachanti Navakodi Murtasigida, Mampadu Vishveshwari. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryandam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Sakaviryankaravavagai Tejasvinavadidamastu Mahavyatvishavagayi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsate. Om Aingara Hrinkara Ragasya Yukta Shrinkara Gudartha Mahavibhutya Omgar Marma Pratibadinebhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukapyam Bindu Trikona Vashikona Dashara Yugma Manvastra Nagatala Samyuda Shodacharam Buddhatrayam Cha Tarani Satanatrayam Cha Sri Chakramedade Udidam Paradevatayaha Bhumos Kalita Padana Bhumireva Valampanam Tvaijata Aparadana Tumeva Sharanam Shive. Om Shri Madri Namaha. Hari Om. Good afternoon. So, with the grace of Parampika, we are contemplating on the Soundarylahari Bhashyam, on the Sostra. In the last class, we saw the 16th verse. The 15, 16, and 17. These three verses are called Saraswathi Prayogam. In other words, we are starting to see the Ambal in mantra rupa. Just to recapture what we had done before, in the first mantra, when we started, Bhagavad introduced the Brahma Shakti as Parambika, and in the first verse, he pondered that how could I be virtuous? Because to pray to you, who is adored by the Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, what a punyam I must have done. So, by setting up you can all worship many gods in many different ways. Worshipping God, the great punyam is not really that important, because from the day you are born, the parents start teaching you about worshipping God. In some form you worship. But the tatparyam of the first verse is to worship the Shakti as the Brahma Shakti. In other words, we collapse all the multitudes of Daivas, the deities, into Parashakti, and the Parashakti as the Brahma Shakti. That means Ekam Satyam. To have that kind of Advaita Jnana Upasanam is very rare. So that's what he started. Then he started describing the Padatuli. It is not just the divinity is venerable, even anything that has got an association with the divinity. Of course, you and I know in the heart of heart, as an Advaiti, we can all say that everything is divine. But in a normal sense, in an empirical world, we treat the animated things different from the inanimate objects. But when there is a Daiva Sambandham, then even that Vastu, which is normally inert, gains sanctity. That's why the Nirmalyam, we call it, the flowers and the vastram and everything that you put on the god becomes priceworthy. That's why when you take the prasadam, you take to your eyes first, because you revere that. So in the second verse onwards, he showed the dust particle of Ambal's divine feet is so sacrosanct, so venerable, that itself is worthy of worshipping. Then he said, if you worship that Ambal's divine feet, you will get the benefits, that you will get your sharp intellect. And if you are a manda buddhi, it gives you a uchaham. If you are impoverished, it will give you the wealth and peace and prosperity. If you are ignorantly dwelling deeper into the samsaric ocean, it will lift you like the Muragari lifting in Varaha-rūpam the whole world. So the palam is also given, what you will get benefit. So by this mantras, by listening to this, our intensity to worship Ambal grows. Then he said, okay, now I cannot really worship Brahma Shakti as a Nirguna Brahman. Give me something. Then he started introducing the Ambal's Rupa. And he started that in a very, in a putakam, in a secret way, by saying Ambal's Rupam is that which gave Mahavishnu the enticing form even to make a chalalam in Shiva's mind. Because Mahavishnu worshipped Aradhana did to Ambal, he attained Ambal's Rupam as Jagan Mohini. He also showed how Manmata, by just doing namaskarams to Ambal, attained the wonderful form, which of course is known only to Rati. But Rati means delight. So wherever you have a delight, you see a Manmatan there. If I like this new iPhone, it gives me delight. That means you got Rati in your mind. Rati is delight. And that iPhone has got the Vashikara Shakti, Manmata Shakti. So like that, the Vashikara Shakti she grants. Then slowly Ambal's form was released. Ambal as Chaturhastini, without the Abhayahastam. Then he moved from there to give you that Ambal, just by giving her the glance of the tip of the eyes can grant you so much power that without you wishing for anything that you want to attain, all the attainment to be follows you like a beautiful maidens of the heavens. So Ambal has been then shown again in the last mantra, Sarajyosna Shuddha. In that one, it showed that Ambal appears as Mahasaraswati. with Saraswathi Shuddham Sashida Jada Juda Magudam Varatra Satrana Spadika Kadika Pustaka Karam. She got 4 hands with the Pustakam, Spadika-mani, and Jada Magudam, Varahastam, Abhayahastam, Shagrunatva, Natva, Kathambita Sadam. So the moment somebody who is a Sattva Guna worship you, you gave him this. In between, in 9th verse and 10th verse, we also saw Ambal as Sri Chakra, Sri Pura. So we have seen Ambal's Yantra Bhavam, Yantra Rupam. Now we are coming to the Mantra Rupa. Mantra Rupa means Ambal is residing in every aksharas, every sound. That's why the 15, 16, 17 are very important to provide the Vagbhava Shakti. So we recapture the 16th verse first. Kavīntrāṇāṁ cheta kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ bhajante ye shanta kashitaruṇāṁ eva bhavati virinji preyasyas tarunudara shriṅkāra-lahari kāvyānāṁ satāṁ rañcanamami. Ambal, when she appears to sadhus with the sattva gunam, as Sarat Jyosna Shuddham Sashida Jada Juda Magudam, in the beautiful moon-like complexion of the body and the mind and the face, Saraswathi, Sri Sharada is contemplated by the sadhus. Because of that, the sadhus' words become madhukshira draksha mudritimada. We saw that. Their words become so sweet. In the 16th mantra, which we saw in the last class, he talks about the great poets, Kavīntrāṇāṁ. For them, the chetaha, the intellect, which is like a kamala vanaha, which is like a bush of lotus flowers. And they witness bala atapa ruchi, the rising moon, they look at it. Sun, they look at it. Just remember, in the 15th mantra, Sadhugana Pradhanam, you are aiming to be a sadhu. A sadhu is one who is tranquil mind. It's the ultimate state before we get the mumukshutvam. The sadhu is fully engrossed in sattva guna. Sattva guna is normally considered to be white. Therefore, in his mind, Ambal is worshipped as Mahasaraswati with the moon-like thing. And also his mind becomes a lotus mind, becomes converged to get ekagram, because mind on a full moon day, full moon night will converge, will get concentrated. That is a sadhu state. The 16th verse, we saw Kavīntrāṇāṁ chedaka kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ bhajante. In 15th, the sadhu is just doing namaskaram, natva. In 16th, the scholarly person who attained certain kavitvam because of the purva punyas and worshipping Ambal started doing bhajana. Bhajante means aradhana. He is not just doing namaskaram, he is doing worship, do upasana. Because he is doing that, what happened? Virinji prayasya tarunadara shringara lagari. Virinji's prayer. Virinji means Brahma. The Brahma's beloved Saraswati Devi, Tarunadara Shrinkara Lahari. Tarunadara means very youthful, very glittering, nourishing, Shrinkar, enchanting. Lahari fled. Her wonderful grace, which is so beautiful and enchanting, comes into the kāvyānāṁ in their Kavindranam's work. Their words become so beautiful, so youthful, so nourishing. What happened? It becomes Sadam Ranjanamami. All the sadhus are listening to this Kavindranam. Sadhus are saying, wow, 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 wonderful. What a wonderful poetry. What wonderful words, wonderful eloquence. If sadhus have to appreciate you, your word should be satyam. Word should be divine, venerable, and becomes a poetry, an epic. So you become a Kavindrana. So this is what we saw. So here, Ambal comes as Katichit Arunamyeva Bhavati. In 15, she was a Sharada, Sharad Josna Shuddha. But here, Aruna means the rising sun. Rising sun is not cooling, it is awakening. It gives you gentle heat, a brightness to your eyes, makes you wake up from the slumber. So what happened? Your mind now becomes, the intellect wakes up. You know the world is in front of you. Your knowledge spans. So your mind is now considered to be the buddhi, cheta kamalavanam. Again, it is still a kamalavanam, lotus heart. The lotus now gets the sunlight, therefore it blossoms. So you need to have a concentric mind, egakram, so that you can focus on it, but a very widespread knowledge. So your intellect has to be all embracing, all inquiring, but able to focus as needed to be. So bhakti, shraddha, vivekam, vairagyam, all implied into these two verses. So Sharada gives you that Shanta Buddhi, Nischalana Buddhi. Aruna Saraswati gives you the sparkling knowledge which inspires you to write poetries, make words, and all that. So we saw that. Now go to the 70th mantra. Savitrībhir-vācāṁ, śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ, vaśinyādyābhistvāṁ, janani saṁcintayati kartā kāvyānāṁ, bhavati mahatāṁ bhaṅgirucibhiḥ, vacōbhirvāgdēvī, vadana-kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ. Savitrībhir-vācāṁ, śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ, vaśinyādyābhistvāṁ, janani saṁcintayati kartā kāvyānāṁ, bhavati mahatāṁ bhaṅgirucibhiḥ, vacōbhirvāgdēvī, vadana-kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ. Savitrībhir-vācāṁ, śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ, vaśinyādyābhi tvāṁ, saha janani saṁcintayati sa kartā kāvyānāṁ bhavati mahatāṁ bhaṅgirucibhiḥ vacōbhi vāg-dēvī vadana-kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ. So in this verse, Bhagavan is now giving a secret. The Vāg-devatas are those who are praising the Ambal. Here in the 15th verse, we saw Ambal as Mahasaraswati, as a Purna Chandra. The 16th verse, we saw Ambal as Aruna Saraswati with 8 hands now. From the 4 hands become 8 hands. And with the Sattvam and Rajas. So Ambal is now expanding the root. The Brahma Shakti becomes Ambal with 4 hands and Ambal with 8 hands, and now become a Chatushtashti Gaudiya Yoni. So 64 yogini she becomes all pervading powers. Everything, if there is a power somewhere, it is. See, power is a potential energy that is going to expand. Power is a product creation. Power is infinite potential. So it can manifest in any form. So matter and energy are a residue of power's creation. So every matter, every energy, every form of energy is Shakti. So 64 crores, basically infinite. So she appears in so many forms. See, you asked Bhagavad Padar, give me a form to behold. So he started Brahma Shakti, you can't hold. Then he started giving some poetic gestures and started giving a form to hold. But because the truth is so profound, he just can't resist. Now he says she is everywhere. But still he is giving you something to enumerate on. He says, this time, Vācāṁ savitrībhir. Savita Devata is one who produces. Savita means mother, progeny. Whoever can produce is called Savita. So savitrībhir means one is going to produce. In what? Vācāṁ. In the words. In the words, who is going to produce what? śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ. Sashi means moon. śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ. Shila means a stone. śaśi-maṇi-śilā means Chandragantaka. It is a moonstone. It's a very precious stone with a lot of radiating power. Maybe it's got a uranium ore on it. I don't know. So it's so powerful stone it is. What it does is the stone is like a spadikam, and it collects the moonlight, like how in a shell the pearl is formed by the raindrop, collects the moonlight and it becomes a pearl. Like that, the stone collects the moonlight, and inside this bubble is there with the infinite kind of power in it. So if you break this moonstone, you see a lightning power from this. So he says, like that, in the Vācāṁ savitrībhir śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ. Rucibhiḥ means rays. The luminance of the moonstone-like luminance is coming from the words. See, now he is giving you not just a vāchyārtham. When you speak a word, When you read a word, it gives you a meaning. It's ordinary meaning. For that you need Bhagavan's grace, Ambal's grace. But when you are Devi Upasakas, when you get the grace of the Ambal, the vāg-dēvī goes inside the words and they are like a moonstone. So when the words are broken, means the words are analyzed, Mīmāmsikam has done, Bhujya Vicharam is done, it is revealing so deep meaning. It illumines your mind. You say, I got it now. I didn't think of that. It doesn't appear like that. That's the reason why great texts are giving you so much of meaning, because this śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ just keeps on coming. But who is giving that? Vaśinyādyābhi. Vashinee, he has given a whole list. Vashinyādyābhi, Vashinee devatas, and etc. We'll see who these devatas are. They are the devatas of the Akshara. So they are all there. Janani, hey Janani, hey mother. tvāṁ, yaha tvāṁ. Yaha means whoever, tvāṁ, to you. What do they do? Saṁcintayati. Saṁcintayati means meditate. In other words, what the two lines tells you, hey mother, hey janani, tvāṁ saṁcintayati yaha. Whoever meditates you, like what? Like vaśinyādyābhi saha. That is, you are, saha means together. Sahodaran means saha utaran. Saha, sahi. Saha means coming with. So, whoever worships you, Ambal, not alone sitting with four hands, but now surrounded by Vasinnyādi devatas, who was like śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ, who are like illuminating power from the moonstone into the words. That's right. So when he meditate upon you like that, vāg-dēvī's vadana-kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ. Vāg-dēvī, that means Saraswathi Devi's vadana-kamalam, this lotus-like face, āmoda-madhuraiḥ. Madhuraiḥ. Āmodam means smell, beautiful smell. So Ambal's face contains the beautiful smell. That smell comes into the words of this poet. Because of that, his words become mahatāṁ, like incomparable, epic-like words. So vacōbhi, with that kind of words, kāvyānāṁ kartā bhavati. So he is now producing epics, so beautiful. In other words, whenever someone contemplates upon you as Mahasaraswati, Mahatripurasundari, surrounded by vāg-devatas, Vashinee devatas, etc. So many of them. In his words, the fragrance of your beautiful face come into that, and therefore his words become epic. That's how it is. See, this is all, of course, this kind of sostram you can explain in so many ways, so much time you can take on this. The Bhagavad Padals supreme poetic talents comes in there. So last one is a madhukshira draksham. Madhu kshiram draksham. What are they? This is milk, honey, and draksha. How do you taste it? In the mouth. But they comes in this sadhu's words. But the words, you don't taste it. See, the pramanam is different, right? To taste sweetness, you must need a mouth. But here you are talking about hearing. That means, Yagakram, all pramanam become one. So you are not listening by the ears. See, you eat from the mouth. So the mouth, ruchi is a pramanam only from the tongue. I can only see, I cannot taste. Here, ear can only hear, ear cannot see. But when you say madhukshira draksha for the hearer means, how can I taste the sweetness in my ears? It means it transcends my hearing capacity, but it goes into my mind. Because all these senses go into the mind. Therefore, you hear from the mind. You taste from the mind. You smell from the mind. So you ignore all these sensory perceptions. Your deep dwells. That means ekagram, shraddha. That is active listening. So whenever we listen to somebody's conversation, even any business conversation, anything, because our intellect is so much, when somebody says a statement, you started thinking about the response to it, refusing it or accepting it, advocating it. So your mind goes in a tangent. It may be okay to communicate with appropriately at the time, but you would never get the exact intent of the speaker if you don't do active listening. Active listening is you take up all the senses and focus on grabbing it. I bet you can grab it, then you can instantly come back to the best response. But our mind is always thinking, Every lecture you hear, during the lecture itself, Shravanam stops and Mananam comes in. Mananam is a deliberate step. Shravanam is just get what he is saying. I don't want to analyze it now. Am I hearing it well? So when you do that, your mind plays a focus role. So here, I'm just giving you sideways, but I just want you to appreciate the poetry. Madhuraiḥ means it's a Madhura Manam. It's a beautiful fragrance in the words. How can a word smell nice? Of course, in the tantric upasanas and shaktas, they take it literally, which is also good. The Shraddha is so much. Ambal's Nama had to be pronounced with the fragrance. So what they do tambulam. The mouth is full of betel leaves and all this, smelling nicely. Then you clean your mouth and go and say it. So dress up very nicely. All the Devi Upasakas dress up so well because they want to give that Gandhatwara, Dhruvadarshini, all that beautiful smell, fragrance, delight. Delight is what is there. But of course, the true fragrance is the vasantam of that meaning, jnanartham. So this is what the thing here. What he does, saṁcintayati. Go back and contemplate the 15, 16, 17. Listen to the video again. Listen to other lectures. They're very interesting. 15th, natva. Sadam natva. Just do namaskaram. When you attain that, satogana pradhanam. Then 16, kavindrana bhajanti. You do aradhana. When you are able to sing, listen, understand, you are in amongst us, a well-educated, well-disciplined person, you please take up the puja, do aradhana. If Rajas becomes Shuddha Rajas, you become Sattvic. all of us should start from this basic, that all the time, whether you are Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, doesn't matter, all the time, Chintaya, saṁcintayati. How do you think as Ambal is coming with an army of devatas around her? In fact, Lalita Sahasranamam itself is explained this. We saw Aruna Saraswati, we saw it 16th. So Aruna Saraswati, Arunan means Surya, sun. Aruna got the name like Mitra, Ravi, Surya, Bhanu, Sukha, Bhushaha, Hiranyagarbha, Marichi, Aditya, Savitru, we saw in this sloka, Argan, Bhaskara. These 12 names are given to Aruna. Same way, Aruna Saraswati also got 12 names. Tabhini, Thabini, Dhumra, Marichi, Jwalini, Ruchi, Sushumna, Yogada, Vishwa, Bodhini, Dharini, Kshama. We don't need to dwell into the nama. So these 12 important yoginis, 64 crore yoginis, 12 important yoginis. Vashinee. So what are the boss of the Vashinee mantra? See, Lalita Sahasranamam start with this context, which is the part of the Brahmanda Puranam, all that you know, the story. In the Lalita Sahasranamam, the 1,000 names contain the Mahima of the Amba, the Sri Mata's avataram, then Keshadipada Varnanam, that is Thula Rupa Varnanam. Then you have the Pandashura Vadam, and like that, Shar Parakramam. Then comes the Mantra Rupam, Sushma Rupam. Then Kundalini Rupam, Tantric Rupam. Then Bhakta Anugraham, how Ambal gives Anugraham. Then Brahma Shakti, like Nirguna Upasana, Nirahara, Nitya Shuddha, Nirahara, you go like this. Then you have Sakuna Upasana. Then Panja Brahma Rupam. Then Kshetra Kshetrajna Rupam. Then Pidas, then Anga Devatas. Then Yohini Dhyanam. Then her Vibhuti Vistaram, her glory. Then Shiva Shakti Aikyam. So like that in Lalita Sahasranamam, again Ambal is taken. We're not going into that now, right now, but saying it taking from Sri Mata to Sri Lalita Ambika, within it, the whole Devi Mahatmyam is packed up with so many words, so many namas. Why that was done? That was done by Ambal's own grace. Ambal said, look, see, when for the Parabrahmat Usvasa-nishvasam, the respiration of Shiva is Vedas. All the Vedas are just the respiration of Brahma. Ambal's Vak is all Jagat. So all Srishti, Siddhi, Pralaya, Kedu, everything is Ambal's Natham. So Lalita Sahasranamam is, it's revered in 5 levels. Lagu, Lalitam, Lakshanam, Lakshyam, and Layam. Lagu means it is very simple. Very simple. Why it's simple? It is not like great yajnas and Vedanta vicharams and contemplative thinking. No, it's very, very lagu and very simple to do. From Hayagriva to Agastya to Agastya's wife Lobhamutra. So the Sri Vidya Upasana started from Agastya and Lobhamutra, both husband and wife. That means Veda mantras, sometimes they say women cannot do it. But here it is Lagu, simple, anybody can do. Man, woman, no difference at all. Lalitam. Lulita Rana Nivrti is Lalitam. Lulitam means just dangling here and there. Lalitam means whatever is dangling, making it beautiful. Yeah. So our life is like a Lulitam, without any purpose, running here and there, here there. And it has to come to a standstill. But before you come to standstill, it has to resonate properly. You do a simple pendulum exercise. If you just leave it haphazardly, it'll go here and there, and then it comes to the layam. That process of regulating your life into such a beauty is called lalitam. And if you do that with such frolicsome mood, with happiness, sporty mood, you are great. So that is what is lalitam. Lakshanam. Lakshanam means it has got a very clear structure. It is in the Brahmanda Puranam. In the Lalitopakhyanam is a great text. There you got a mantra kantam, nyasa kantam, puja kantam, prascharanam, homa kantam, rakasyam, and sostra kantam, the last kantam. There it is positioned in the center as Lalita Sahasranamam. And Ambal has said, for my devotees who cannot understand all the complication of it, let them just praise my name. And she initiated the yoginis to say, you start reciting my names. That's why Lalita Sahasranam came. So all the vāg-devatas started doing that. How can they do it? So for that, a lakshyam should be there. For that, so vāg-vivek kudatam, what the Sankhya, Saktam says is that every word had a letter. Every letter got a sound, aksharam. So the sound is very important part. So in the Sanskrit alphabets, it's Vedic alphabet. We call it Sanskritam now because Sanskritam is a language, we call it, from the Vedic sounds. The Swara Varisa, so a, I, U, Ru, Lu, Lu, O, A, I, Om, all those things put into one set. That Vargam is called Avargam. Vargam means a row, homogeneous row, starting with A is Avargam. Then you go to the consonants. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. So that's called Kavarkam. Same way, sa, cha, ja, ja, nga. Chavarkam. So ta verse, Tavarkam. Ta, Tavarkam. Pa, pa, ba, ba, Bhavarkam. Then Yavarkam, Yavarala, Yavarkam. So each Vargam, Avarkam as a Swara Varsha, Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa, Ya, Sa. This 7. 7 plus 1, 8 Vargas. So if you take all the legible possible sounds that you can make, you can put into 8 rows. A, ka, cha, ta, ta, pa, ya, va, sa. Each Varga is a lot of powers there, and each Varga is called Vashinee Devata. Right? Each Vargam becomes a Devata. There were 8 Devatas. So 8 Vashinees. The Vakbhava Devatas, these 8 controls all the sounds. So if your vocabulary, your diction is not good, some sounds are not coming out well, that means you don't have that kripa of that Shakti. You see, it's not look unscientific, If I call everything is Shakti, and if I am stammering, I'm not able to say a few words, then if I have to blame the whole Shakti, not giving me that. Now I want to divide and rule. I want to really focus on what is my problem. My water doesn't come in my house. I need to call my plumbing engineer. So why should I go to Harrow Council and complain about my house? So they have the overall control, but you have to take the subdivision of labor, right? Just to facilitate, each shabdam has got a devata. So they're given means to worship Vak Shakti. So you can just worship the Vak Shakti that come through. That's the reason why we have so many gods, A god to Marga Bandhu. You are taking a travel, there is a Marga Bandhu Sostra. And a Swami to take care of the community. A Garupa Swami at the end of the village, protecting the village. All that because it's possible. Because why I have to disturb the Brahma Shakti for it? She's all pervading and she's given, embodied in so many different ways. That's the reason why we have so many gods. It's not stupidity we are thinking. It is a plurality of the single power. Yeah. So these Vashinee Devatas are there. These Devatas, you see, he says Vashinee Devata Adi. That means not only this one, the other yoginis also come through. Sri Vagbhava Kuda Surupamaga Pankaja Kantanta Kadiparyanta Madhya Kudaka Surubini Shakti Kudaka Tapanna. We say that we make into 3 kudas: Vagbhava Kudam, Madhya Kudam, Shakti Kudam. The Vagbhava Kudam from the forehead to the neck. That's why you're worshipping now. There, Vak is a pradhanam. So we are going to worship the Madhya Kudam and the heart is going to come, thoughts going to come, like that. So the whole Soundarylahari worship is divide and rule. Focus on the areas of worship for the upasanas. But for the Nishkamya Bhaktas, it is just a prolific thought. It just tells you, hey, just worship God, your words become very clear, diction become very clear. You see, if you don't have the capacity to express what you want to express well, then you fail, isn't it? In a transactional world, be it, or in a spiritual world, be it, even to pray to God. Of course, if you are in a state where you don't need to say, that's a different thing. But like you and I, ordinary people, we want to go and pray to God. In Bible they say, ask, you shall be given. You have to ask. And asking is a very important thing, I say jokingly, I would say, because when technology is forcing towards asking, in those days when you want to test somebody's knowledge, they must answer. The teacher asks a question, the student answers well. If you answer well, that means you are knowledgeable, you pass the exam. But answering is a repository of knowledge and putting it back. But in this day and age, nobody needs to remember anything. You can use a calculator to get answers done, computer to give you answers for it. But you must ask. In the AI terminology, they call the prompt engineering. You go and ask what I need. Like that, you ask. But to ask, you have to calibrate your thought. Asking is not gibberish, dropping off your desires into incoherent thought. You waste your tokens and you very costly affair to do things. So what they do? Think through it. Saṁcintayati. You think through it. Then Madhyama, Vaikari, Parash, all these Shaktis are working with you. Then you articulate. When you articulate, your words become so clear. When you pronounce it, when you sing or speak, so all the Vashinee Devatas are sitting and dancing in your words. And then you say it. And then after you said what you need to say, you've gone back. But the people who listened to you, they started looking at it and they're breaking what you said. What did she say? What did he say? And then when they break it, what happened? The moonstone's light emanating from it. Because what you said in the words contains so much of empathy, so much of meaning, so much of your purpose. It's ordinary word. Yes, the word, the way you said it, the way they sit together, the way these vak shaktis are calibrating together, putting together, they are carrying a flag. They are raising your emotions to convey to the party to whom it should be heard eloquently. It's called effulgence. That is the power. Not writing anything, not 10,000 word essay I write. I speak for 1 hour, but nobody's mind is capturing it. But you say a few words, and it goes into anybody's mind, and slowly but surely it releases this energy like the śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ. So that power comes from Ambal. That's what it is said. But to do that, you need to do all the time thinking about that Ambal, the Chayanti. So we'll finish with this. savitrībhir-vācāṁ śaśi-maṇi-śilā-bhaṅga-rucibhiḥ vaśinyādyābhistvāṁ janani saṁcintayati kartā kāvyānāṁ bhavati mahatāṁ bhaṅgirucibhiḥ vacōbhirvāgdēvī vadana-kamalā-mōda-madhuraiḥ. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Om Ashadhoma Shadgamaya Tamashoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mama. Awesome explanation.
Thank you, Ma.